Ja, nu skal vi nok.
Ja, jeg kan ringe dem op. Du må bare blive siddende der. Baronesse Trud Rosenkrantz, hun er så... She's nice too. This one.
Yeah. She's very... Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. See.
We are more people here than you can see. And Jonas is here also.
Okay.
Matthias, have you seen Jonas? Is he up there?
No, I'll check it.
No, I think you have that.
Yeah. So Therese is in Italy at the moment, so it's me and Marianne here.
Nice. Where are you guys?
We're in our office. Yeah. So here are some mementos from earlier projects.
It matches really good in the colors with your shirt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, I was gonna make a performance today, so you know. Okay. Hi. Good to see you. Yeah. So, how's it going?
I think it's going well. It's going a little bit slower than expected, but yeah.
Great. Yeah. I'm sorry, what group are you?
I am in, Matthias and I are in group 1.
Okay.
And we have researched about Charlottenburg, like this place and the history of it, and deeper into the women's school who was here, and yeah, so just we did the historical research space. And who else is represented today?
Yeah?
Yeah, this Admiral Köln. Yeah, this group is also here.
And Jonas also.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mine should come in.
Yeah, you're not in the picture.
What's it called? Hi. Great. So, the 3 groups who had a particular space are all present, right? So,
Yeah, and you're from this place.
Yeah.
is Ia there from the key group?
No, nobody from the key group is here.
Okay, so, yeah, we have we're going to call Lucas afterwards. Because we couldn't make a 3-part video call, because then everybody needs much better connections.
Okay.
So we talked to him after.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and tried to make him report on that. Thank you so much, Dina, for setting up the blog.
Yes. Did anybody check it out, actually? I didn't get the email. Okay.
Yeah, I think after today you're going to start popping things there, right? It's good. Okay, how do you think we should do this?
I don't know. What do you think?
We have to invent this as we go along, you know. But perhaps just
Group by group?
Who want to start?
I really think you should come into the picture, because when I see ourselves, we're all grey. I think we need
Oh, great!
Just a little bit.
That's enough.
right like this.
Is it a very great day for opening it? Right?
Yeah, but
It is a rainy day.
I see. I have fun into the picture. Yeah, try to see more. Okay. So, yeah, we have until 12, you know, so we could just start to see how long we need and, yeah. Okay.
Should we go first?
Yeah, so Admirals.
Admiralskronen.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk?
Yeah, I went to the building archive and found some floor plans and some sections. And this drawing on the staircase, and Maya and me talked yesterday about the staircase, that it was really important because the first floor was for the women, and the second floor was for the men, and the staircase was what in between, yeah, for all the leftovers. And there's some, the drawing is I can put it up on the blog later.
And there's a really strange, what's that called in English? Byste?
A sculpture,
Yeah.
Mhm.
On the side.
bust,
Mhm.
but we don't know what the guy, who the guy is.
So is the sculpture on the drawings? Yeah.
Yeah,
That looks
Yeah.
really weird.
Interesting.
And where are they? Where is the sculpture? On the first or second floor?
On the staircase.
yeah,
In between.
in
Okay.
between. It's in between.
And is it still existing, the sculpture?
I don't think so.
And
I don't know.
We haven't been to.
No.
did you also, was there any like documents? I mean, because there's a theater, right? In the same part.
Yeah, in the basement.
Ah,
That's what, sorry?
Theater.
is it like a prolongation for you when we talk?
Huh?
Do you get what I say later than when I say it? Is there like a bad
Yeah, a
connection?
little bit. It is a little bit
So we
delayed.
try
or
to.
something.
We should call you again and see if it's better.
Okay.
Okay?
Det var bare deres. Det Skype, altså alle folk har sådan en idé om, at Skype er totalt fantastisk. Det er bare
Okay, let's see. I'm more lucky.
But
Oh, now it's actually worse.
But,
Is it her?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Oh, no.
you also have to give it a minute.
but sometimes it also helps to take the video off.
Yeah.
But I don't think
It's
it's so
better,
bad.
but
Is it bad for you? It's not so bad for us.
yeah, it's worse actually.
Yeah.
Okay, but can we take the video off then? Because now we've seen each other.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. See you later.
Yes. And also here.
Sorry, Sophie.
Okay. So do you hear us well better now?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Oh.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, maybe it's not so delayed.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep on trying.
Okay. But the other thing about Admiralskronen was that there was an exhibition made 4 years ago at the Copenhagen City Museum, and it was an LGBTQ whatever history exhibition, and we contacted the person who did that exhibition to ask about Admiralskronen, and he said that he had not been able to find any sources actually on the place. He had tried, and he went through his notes again, and he didn't find anything. So, and I think we found a little bit more. You also found.
Yeah, I was at the image archive and I only found a drawing from 38 and like from the outside, but it wasn't possible to find any inside pictures of the bar.
Yeah. And also we found some materials about, or some descriptions of the area where Admiralskronen was also a part, but it's not mentioned. So I think it feels a little bit like we have this story about the staircase that Boletti told us, and it's such a good story that kind of is there, but it's really difficult to find other sources, I think.
Okay. But maybe you can imagine.
Huh?
I mean, maybe you can imagine anyway how it was and try to, tell your story in a way. I mean, I don't think maybe you have to be so worried that you can't find like pictures or stories about it. Maybe you can use it in some way anyway.
I think I remember that Boulette said something about that there was still somebody living in this building. Is it possible to find out who that is and contact her? Or,
It's a part. It's a part.
There was someone living there. But wasn't that also somewhere? Sorry?
We didn't get that.
Okay, I'll tell. The way I remember it was there was someone who lives there. She has has posters of books in her apartment.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, and that was it was Bolette talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try to follow up on that, but maybe we can afterwards when the other groups have told what they found. Maybe we should talk a little bit about this not having the information or using fantasy or imagination or whatever. That would be nice to have a talk about, I think.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Let's have a general discussion about that in the end. Excellent.
Do you have someone?
Didn't get
Sorry.
that.
I was asking if you have find someone that have been there and have an own experience of it. If you talk to anyone.
We haven't found any.
There is.
I think.
We haven't talked to anyone.
No, not yet. No. But there is a story in a book.
And we had that book.
Yeah, about girls making out on the toilet. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's quite rich in actually descriptions in general about bar culture in I don't know, from the 40s or something, which we could use from, not necessarily from MYCKET, but from elsewhere. But Ingrid has the book right now, and she's not here right now.
Okay.
And then we have another book with descriptions from bars around the area from the 30s till the 60s, which is called the Minefield. And there were a lot of bars, and it looks like the way that this book describes it. It's very like bohemian life. A lot of artists, poets, musicians, working class, and a lot of drunkards and smoking and that kind of culture there. Like it's described as a kind of living room culture or kind of small village culture for artists and city poor.
Okay, that sounds really interesting.
And it's quite rich on visual material as well. It looks a little bit like it's that kind of image archive from private people, and it's all the description are from people who were part of that social gatherings down there. So,
okay, that's great.
So we can steal from that too.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I was also thinking about what she was telling us on the tour about this person who wrote about that it was such a problem that this club existed. When he wasn't it was the same place. So, and also that they always had someone in the door to look for the police.
Yeah.
So that was 37. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting to get this this article, who said that it's not that it should get closed down.
Yeah. I think Matthias contacted Bolette But I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a book here that is called En annan stad. It's a... Hello?
Yeah.
So, how tricky it is, yeah.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this book called En annan stad. It's written by Margareta Lindholm and Arne Nilsson. In this book, they're like explaining the life of. It's in Gothenburg, right? Yeah. Anyway, it's a short story here about a group of lesbians that went to Toro Negro.
Okay.
And that's the same place, right? Yeah. I can send this as a picture for you, but maybe you can contact. I think maybe you can contact Margaret Lindholm or Arne Nilsson and hear if they have more stories about especially this place.
Yeah.
And that's in the 50s, right? Yeah.
Could you maybe scan the text and
I
send it to us?
yes. Great.
Is there something you found in the material so far that you feel that you want to like do something with, like more concrete?
Well, what I've been thinking was mostly kind of the social thing that was going on down there. But I don't know how to find it. But I would like to find some of the speeches that have been held there. But I have no idea how that should happen. But there's just a lot of music represented in the book that I thought could be nice somehow to be present as well.
Yeah.
And maybe find out who the guy on the bus is.
Oh yeah, the best.
He must be in Poland.
Was that from the beginning when the house was built?
Yeah, I think so. It's on the drawings. So yeah, it's plain. So.
It's probably the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, okay, but then shall we move on to next group, and then we'll have a more general, try to have a general discussion in the end about facts and fiction. Is that okay? Yeah, it's a tricky this with the bad connection we have between us, the bad technology.
I think it's a good connection. It's just confusing to know when to talk because we can't see, but we figured that out. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Matthias should be more. So Matthias and I are from the historical research group, and we really wanted to organize some kind of tour so we can see the whole school, but it was a little bit tricky and we didn't manage to do that yet. Yeah. It's still on the, we're still trying that. And then we were kind of mostly interested about the fact that these spaces before were the women's school, the women drawing school, and we are now in contact with a woman working in the research of the library who we are going to meet with tomorrow, who will tell us more about that. And Matthias and Eleonora went to the, maybe Matthias you should talk about that.
We went because we have two collections of art at the school. We have a collection of prints, so we asked the guy who's running it if he couldn't show it to us. And we mainly did it in a context of tours at the school, basically seeing places which we usually have not seen. And well, we did that, and now we want to, and I put in the recording on the blog. And now we want to also talk with Pontus, who's running our gipс collection, or the, how you call it, the sculpture collection, which is somewhere in another basement, I don't know where, but that's probably gonna happen next week if we can manage it with time. Then we've been also talking a little bit with people in the library, if it's possible that one of them can give us like this super duper ultimative grand tour, historical grand tour all around in the school.
Yeah, so I think it was interesting to see the two collections we have, and also to think about that this is there is material still from 16, like from the beginning until now. And for example, in the
the print.
Yeah, the print archive still has some of the very first prints from, like there's so much material, so we have to go there again and come with some names, but they probably will have some prints made from the women's school who was here. And maybe we're thinking of maybe it is possible to redo the prints, or we also asked him if we can borrow some of them, and he was open for that. So we can borrow prints from that archive, which would be beautiful. I guess the same also goes for the gip's sculpture, but we haven't been there yet.
So are you saying that you think you might be able to borrow gip's sculptures as well?
Yes. I hope so. I can't say for sure yet, but I think it could be possible. And then,
because there is also one pretty cool thing still says is that the women in the women drawing school, they were not allowed to draw from the naked models. So they had like this universal mannequin where you could screw on the breasts and screw them off. And actually, and this is like an important historical artifact. So there are like 2 or 3 of them left at the school, and one of them, which has been restored lately, is at Finn's office. And he's coming back to Copenhagen next week. So I hope that we can go there and make some photos of it.
Yeah. I think it's a really, really cool object, and I would think it would be really cool to to borrow it or something. Because it looks really, really weird.
Yeah, there's actually somebody who wrote an article about it, but we can't find the article yet. We have to ask Finn again what was exactly.
We'll find it, but there has been a publication about exactly this kind of sculpture, because it's very unique. You only have it. It was only used here in the school.
Wow, it's a really fun, super. Yeah, I'm thinking all these relationships with like what we've been talking about, like in queer theory, with the body and what the body represents and so on. And here we have this universal mannequin. It's perfect. I think, and also I mean, we saw the blog recording that you put about the print thing you did. And I guess there must be really interesting scenes there that could be like reproduced or actually performed, like tableau vivants or something. It just strikes me as a really, really interesting starting points to make some kind of installations.
So these mannequins, we have 3 of them. We have 3 of them at the school. One is restored, and 2 of them are kind of broken and half and in bits and pieces, and they are in the sculpture school. I would think it would be really nice to collect them.
Absolutely. Is there somewhere else that? Sorry. Can I ask you, the collections, they're also like old ways of exhibiting them, like, like cabinets where they used to be shown, or like some kind of like plinths or stools or something they were standing on, like, do you know what I mean? Or is it just the objects, the actual sculpture has to say, but it's also some piece that's stand on something, or the prints, are they framed, or, like how they were used and exhibited?
It would be interesting to see. We have ordered a book we hope is going to show us a little bit about it, where there are a lot of pictures of this women drawing school. It's going to come soon. And like from in the internet, it looks like that you can see people drawing, and maybe you can get a picture of how it was all installed, like if it was on a pedestal or so on. But it would be interesting to think about how it was exhibited before, because the only thing is now these prints are always exhibited in the school canteen, but otherwise they're not.
Well, they're making an exhibition in China now.
Okay, they are also making an exhibition in China.
They're being rented once in a while, or some of the teachers in the school, they arrange those works for the exhibition. So for the prints, they're basically just put it into the frames. But for the exhibition of the how we call it, the GIPS sculptures we have at the school, I don't know yet how do they do that.
But the GIPS sculptures, they are not really meant to be exhibited, because they are only there to be copied.
Yeah.
Oh. I have a question. Do you have like a register or something that shows who the women, who went to this drawing school? Or can you like find some, who went there, and if there are any famous people, they can find something about more?
We can absolutely find it. That's a good idea, because school keeps a very precise register of every student from the beginning. So it should be somewhere in the archive. We can ask people who would be allowed to look at it.
Maybe you can find some life stories there. It would be interesting.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we actually need to do that, because if we want to find some prints, we need to come with names, because there are thousands of prints.
Yeah, exactly.
And he told us to come back with some names, so this is what we are doing now.
Yeah, so you had some names. Oh, I was talking about some.
Say that again?
Because you had, last time we talked, you had already some names, right? Like Johanna Kratz.
Yeah.
Or maybe she was just a Czech person. Yeah. Well, anyway.
But that's good. It's nice if you also then find these prints made by these women.
Yeah.
And see what they actually were doing.
Yeah, but Matthias, you found one on the internet, right? Some people fencing.
Yeah.
Really?
I will post it on the blog. It was that female artist. She was very critical, if I remember right, in writing articles to the newspaper. I have her name in my phone somewhere. I can find it.
It's Anna Cox.
Yeah, it's Anna Cox. That's true.
Yeah, but that is we will go into finding some more people.
Great.
Do you have a lot of material there that can be?
We also want to research more about the flower drawing class, because there has been, for women, there's been this general women drawing class, and then there was also a department which was called the flower drawing class.
Oh, wow.
It was not only for women, but no men went there, because that was really uncool, I guess.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So it would be really nice to also find some of these, if there is something left from the, some materials, some paintings.
Oh yeah, it would be really fun to see if it probably depends on the season, right? What kind of flowers the course could go all around, or was it dead like glass flowers or textile flowers or?
Yeah. We will find, we don't know so much about it yet, but we'll research that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that it would be interesting to also find some people who have some interesting life stories. But I think in general, this research is very interesting in the thought of decoration, in what we can, because there's so much material we can use to decorate or to.
Oh yeah, that's really great. Because that's also something we can really, I mean, if we want to travel in time and place, to actually look into that, because I think we're so trained in the modernistic way of exhibiting things, so it would also be really nice to get into, like, I've seen these fantastic pictures from, like, the World Exhibition in Paris, like I think it was 1900, and where you saw these well-dressed people actually walking around amongst the gips sculptures, like were on the same level, like they were almost like people in the space. It's really, really. So I think there must be a lot of for decoration. I think on a really good track. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also there might be a connection with the Amiral Club with that bust. You found in the staircase.
Okay. Shall we move on to the?
Can I ask one more thing? I was thinking about the actual when you try to find out about the women's boarding school. I think also you can find something about like took care of it, if there were like a guardian at the door, if there were janitors who were providing things, or something about like maintaining something. Like, who were the characters in? I mean, could they just walk into the door, or did they have to pass water, or I don't know, anything like that you could find would be great as well.
Entrance,
Yeah.
We will dig into it. We haven't found anything yet, but it's a good question.
Because it's so fantastic if we can find things about those things we take for granted, like who is cleaning the floor and things like that. But that's always really difficult to find. But sometimes a hint about it might be marked on a pad or something. Okay. Thank you.
Shall we move on to the third group?
Yes. The third group hasn't been very productive, I'm afraid. I think you have to talk now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I should say wait, I don't, because I think that Mette might have some more, but she's away in London at the moment. But I don't have that much more new. I think I got a bit lost. I got a bit lost in the why and the wherefore of what I was looking at. Because there's all, I mean, you can get, with this there's no problem with information because there's been these 2 books written about it. And you can get a lot, you can get images of what the rooms look like, you can get details of their meetings, you can get details of who stayed in the hotel, and there's all these famous women opera singers, actors, there's a painter who stayed there, she stayed there for long periods of time, and sometimes she paid rent with paintings. So there are all these interesting things to look into, and I think I just got a bit stuck with why am I what am I looking for? Why am I looking for it? Well, how could it possibly be useful?
But I mean, with their interiors and with how, like, the new building, what it looked like, and comparing with the old building, it's in their previous places, their rooms look very much like homes. They were very, like, it was, when you see pictures of them sitting there reading in their reading rooms, it looks like they're sitting at a dinner table in their dining room at home. And then with the new building, it becomes a bit more formal, a bit more sort of club-like. But I think they say somewhere that they try and soften this impression by having loads of flowers and making it so they still wanted it to be quite a homey experience. And no, I mean, the woman who ran it for 50 years, I've had a book about her, and Mette has had a book about the whole institution. But I mean, she's an amazing woman, and she sort of ran this, and she ran the hotel, she ran the restaurant, she ran the tea salon. She was also on the other women's association board who wanted to build their own house too. She seemed to be obsessed with building houses. She built one for herself, this one, and one for the other women's association. And there was a big exhibition in 1895, I think. It's like a women's exhibition that wanted to showcase, achievements by women. And that exhibition made a profit, which is partly what founded the Women's Association who built the house in 1936. But everything also seems very fraught with internal sort of disagreements, and there's this opposition group who don't like Sophia and Bertie and think she's a bit of a tyrant. She had her, she knew what she wanted and she got it done, and other people were a bit sort of making all the decisions. So obviously I still think there's interest in here, but I think I got a bit lost. I didn't find anything that I felt like, oh, this is what we should go forward with, or this is what had amazing hats Maya is showing me. Amazing hats with feathers.
Was it this woman you talked about who was so impressive? It's Sophia Alberti.
Sophia Alberti, yes. And this, yeah.
And when did you say that that exhibition was, where exhibited women's work?
I think it was in 1895.
95. How come it's like, as you said, that founded the house? Or?
It didn't found their house. It became what was made from that exhibition. It belonged to the Women's Association, not to the Reading Association. So it was a Women's Association, but I think the Women's Association did not build their own house in 1936, and I think everything took a lot longer for them because they didn't have Sophia Alberti who made things happen.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Sorry?
We didn't hear you, sorry.
No, I think that exhibition, I think it must have been organized by the Women's Association, and they also wanted to build their own house, but they didn't manage until 1936 because they just weren't organized enough, I think.
Aha, so there were two different associations then?
There were two different, it was mainly like the Women's Association and then this Building Association. I think Sophia Alberti was on the building board for the Women's Association too. But I think what seems to be that everything is everything seems to be really fraught with sort of internal discussions, and nothing seems to go very smoothly. And I think the only reason why the Reading Association built her own house in Sophia Alberti is because she wanted to build a house, so she made it happen. They would not have done that otherwise if she hadn't.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there are lots of interesting features in the architecture. Mike's was showing me that they had in one of the older apartments that they rented, they used all these sort of, to have multifunctional rooms, they used all these like curtains and screens to make reading room into lecture room. inspired by, like when they built in the new house, I think they were very inspired by Ellen Key, and it was really important to them that it looked beautiful, it was important, and I think that's why some other women were a bit affronted because they thought they should focus on the library, whereas Sophia Berti, I think, wanted something. I know she was also interested in creating this space and creating this place for people to come to see. And it was really important to her that it also that it was not only functional but very, very beautiful, and she managed to get more money so the staircase could be made out of marble rather than just wooden and whatever else use, and that the door should be made of teak and not pine, so it's...
Was Ellen Key there as well?
Excuse me?
As you said, she was very inspired by Ellen Key, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was she there? Was she involved?
I think she came and lectured.
Okay.
I think she did. I think, yes, and what was it? There's a painting in Ellen Key's home, and that painting was given to her by the Reading Association because of the lecture that she did on some, I'm sorry, I forgot. But no, that they had this strong lecture. I think Sophia Berti, she was in correspondence with all the major sort of intellectual and cultural women in Scandinavia and in Germany. So there was, she created like this hub of the sort of women intellectualists of the early 20th century. And that's what she wanted to do. I think that's partly why she wanted a hotel, so that she could invite all these people to come and stay. And the hotel was inspired by the women's hotel she visited in New York, which I've got.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like you have another problem than the first group. Like you have too much information. Yeah.
This is the small book. Matt's got a big book.
Yeah. I think what you need to do is like if there's things in this book that resonates with you, that might that makes or that's inspiring, and that somehow starts to like to make it your own material somehow, So probably what I would do is to thread that relates to myself, or your interests. So that it could be an interest in a person, or like you were talking about the curtains and screens, for instance, that they were working with. I also thought this comparison between the old house, home-like dinner table place, and the new building when it became more club-like. It's also really interesting, I think. So you have ways of going into the material, and it's a little bit tricky to guide since you don't know what's your interests are. But I would definitely, try to go with your stomach or your passion or something. That when you start finding some more concrete.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the way forward. Start finding particular things.
Yeah. And I was curious, but that painter that you talked about, who lived in the house for a really long time, do you think the painter had any relation to Charlottenburg or the women's drawing?
No, I don't know. I think we should look into that and see.
Yeah, because it's also nice to work between groups, to see if you can find. If you were a woman who were like allowed to come to the women's drawing school, but you weren't from Copenhagen, then you would have to find a home, right? So probably the women's reading group, the hotel, and so on. Might have been something you knew about. So I'm sure there could be connections.
No, I think there will be. Look into the particulars a bit more.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
So yeah, just look into the particulars a bit more.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, the feeling you say that you have too much info, that there's just too much. I think that's also part of it, you know. So it's just don't worry at the moment if it's too much. Just like try to enjoy it for a little while as well, because you will find areas of concentration and stuff. Especially together, if you talk with the other people who are doing the same, or researching the same, talk together also can, you know, you will start to find focus areas. Mm-hmm. It's also interesting to understand what she meant by beautiful. When you say that she wanted to make the house very beautiful, Sofia Alberti, that it meant expensive materials and so on. It's really funny.
Yeah, no, that's at the same time they're saying that they're having visitors from Oslo and Stockholm and Paris and things, and they show them around as for the building to be an example of what can be done with small means, but at the same time she manages to get money to get marble, and so it's small means within within a certain context.
Mm-hmm. You know, so she was inspired by the hotel, that she was inspired by the Women's Association in New York. Do you know if it's that building that Elsie de Wolf drew or made material for?
I don't know. I can't even remember what it was called where she went.
Sorry?
No, I don't know. I don't remember I don't even remember what the hotel was called.
Okay, because that would be also a really interesting thing to find, you know. I like the fact that you're starting to see connections to other parts of the world here very clearly. And it would be fantastic if it was inspired by a building designed by the first female interior architect.
Yeah, that would be beautiful.
So that would be like a perfect fun.
What was her name, the architect? What was the architect's name? Sorry.
Yeah. And I guess that you also did a lot of the design yourself, right?
Come again? Yeah, no, yes. I mean, she had, I think she met with the architect and the builder every day while it was being built.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that's also really interesting. I know that when Ellen Kay built her house, she actually made the first tour of what it was going to look like, and she handed that drawing over to an architect. But it still looks much like she planned it.
Yeah,
So,
I think she was very involved.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see. It's always so easy to give the whole authorship to the architects, but in fact, there is something there.
Yeah, no.
Mm. 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 Wow. I feel like I want to dig into all these strands that you're presenting, you know? Giving us so much interesting material. Is there something more you wanted to tell us about your research? Mm. Oh. Okay. Mm. Okay. Okay, shall we move on then to what we're going to do next? Are you there?
Yeah, we are here.
Great. Yeah, because we were, I think, depending on the groups and so on, I mean, you will, of course, need to do a little bit more research. But I think when you do it, it's really important that you start to think about how to concrete design the research, start to take some decisions on what your main interests are, and possibly spread that a little bit amongst you, and and to come up with the ideas for what you want for the club. And this, of course, has a lot to do with the relation to facts that we can pick up, history, and also storytelling, like fiction we're going to create together in spaces, the event. So I'm curious what you think about, or how you think about that, like this idea of perhaps with very little and build on that and create fiction out of that.
I think it makes a lot of sense and it's really interesting. What confuses me a little bit is how to connect these different topics we have. The reading Verening and the Admiralklubben and the historical part and the Key Club, and like how is it, maybe I should just not think so much about the end result, but I can't stop kind of imagining how to try to connect these themes. And I would actually like to, can you tell a little bit more about how you thought about this? Because if I'm looking at your former projects, you made maybe this one 80s thing which had a lot of different themes, but otherwise it was always like one theme. How do you think about connecting themes?
Because we were talking about that when we suggested that we should go into these different themes here, that there actually could be, or different places, the different research group that you started doing. And we said it would be really interesting to find another kind of connector than to just say time. Like you said, like for the Culture Club, we had the 1980s sort of as a theme, like the aesthetics of that time, the radicalization of like in your face kind of aesthetics and so on, and the activists' way of working was also a theme, but it was kind of kept together by a certain time. And when we were thought maybe there are other ways of connecting than just saying, oh, it should be like a 1980s thing, or it should be like a 1920s thing. And I think we have in Copenhagen is that, I mean, of course, the container is really important, the building that we're going to be in. We already decided we're going to be in Charlottenburg, so that's going to set some kind of basic for us. But I also think that the idea of the Key Club, like how to get in and how to like certain participants are invited and others cannot even get the key, that kind of all this negotiation between who gets the key and doesn't get a key, I think that really could be a kind of a theme, and I think it is an underlying theme for the whole thing. So for like a general, or at least that's how I thought about it. It would be interesting to, I mean, we could narrow it down if it makes it easier for you to say like, okay, we should just try to look at the 1930s and cut everything around it and just like have that as a starting point. But I think that could be a bit premature to do it right now, a bit too early to do it, and I'm balancing here, like how to keep a theme so that it's possible to work and not excluding really fantastic findings already.
Okay.
I think what's going to connect the topics is the spaces. And I can really imagine that one thing could happen in one of the spaces that's very much connected to to the reading club, whereas when you come into the next space, you're actually entering into the staircase of the Amiral club or something like that. So, yeah,
I think you already have a lot of things that actually connect these rooms together. Maybe you have to like talk to each other once again, or like trying to see the connections. But for example, the sculptures you're talking about, and maybe as you said, Katarina, the sculpture in the staircase, for example, even if you can't find direct, contact, maybe you can in fiction tell a story about it and connect them together. So I think actually also that the rooms in itself, in one way, is like the main idea, and then try to find some stories that can link them together. And I think you already have it.
Yeah, perhaps that could be also a really good task for next week, that you try to dig out as many links as possible between the different research groups. I think that could be really fantastic to try to think about that. And I also think it's really good that you think about the end result. You should always bear that in mind. So I'm glad that you say that you have that in mind, when you ask the question.
Yeah, thinking about the links is quite nice. I think we should do that also, because things are always connected. You just have to find them, and I think this is also would be a starting point to get some kind of fiction to it.
Yeah, definitely. And what if, I thought this, the minefield sounded really interesting, that the first group talked about, the minefield.
Yeah.
The living room culture and all that. It sounds like really, what if Charlottenburg is part of the minefield for us now? What's the key to that?
But there is definitely a link between the minefield and Charlottenburg, because a lot of the places that were part of the minefield were a lot of the regulars were students also, I think, from the academy. And some of the places are still that kind of places. Still has that. There are a few of them, like Hvid Svinstue, which is just at Kongens Nytorv, still exists and still, I think, looks quite the same as it did back in the 1930s, for instance. And maybe it did change a bit. It's not so bohemian anymore, but it still has the kind of flavor of that time. So I think the minefield is definitely connected with the art academy, because it was primarily artists going there, and then local people from working class, poor or something. So I think that there are definitely links there. And I also think that I get the feeling that there was the opportunity to be a different kind of woman in these pubs, like more loud speaking, brutal women down there, and some of them are mentioned by name, which is to look into.
Oh wow, great.
Yeah, and also always trying to bring in, the present history right here. What kind of rooms do actually function as that today? To also connect history and the now.
But there's definitely also this romanticism, I think, involved in it. This romantic idea about the bohemian poor, and in a way that maybe also connects to now.
Yeah, and I think that's also what's going to make it so powerful, the event, because you don't get kind of that gift of entering into dream, the kind of pink version of the bohemian, if that's what we do. But just as an example, like you're going to get that as a kind of gift participate, but it's also going to be you, the everyday you entering into those spaces, have that connection between the history and the now very directly. And also, when we try to get inspired from important places from the past, we so of course understand they well, fantastic, but we need the fantastic parts today somehow. So I think it's more. I have this beautiful quote by Bell Hooks who talks about nostalgia. I'll find it for you on the blog. So, because it's more nostalgia is something very passive. I mean, it could be experienced something passive, but if it's about something which is very present today, like a political situation or the fight to get presence in society of some sort, then it's more than just a passive nostalgia, something else. She has written about it in a very beautiful way. I'll find it for you. I'll post it.
It was very hard to understand you, unfortunately.
Sorry?
Yes.
Unfortunately,
it was very difficult to hear you.
Oh, too
Yes.
bad.
But it would be nice if we can, after this, maybe write some notes down and put it up on the blog so we can.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And also, I think if you have questions, like pressing questions about, I don't understand this, what does it mean, so, write them down and we'll try to answer them in writing as well,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So pose us some questions.
Yeah. But what I got out of what you said is that we should also try to connect it to the present, and it would be good if we could. There would also be some political aspects in it. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very good conclusion, or like short and like you got the essence out of it.
Yeah, for example, in the second, the culture club that we made, that Katarina right now talked about, and we were in the 80s, 70s, 90s. Still, we invited, activists from today. So then, in the same kind of language, way of acting in the political way, you can see the links between history and the now. So I mean, there are several ways of you doing it, I think. Both maybe in how you work with the rooms, but maybe you can also try to understand and see what kind of people you can invite or the stories you want to tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I can somehow feel that, of course we have to research a lot more, but I can also feel that everybody, at least I really want to also think about something concrete. I can feel that, for example, right now I'm working a lot with singing and music and so on, and then I can't stop thinking about that kind of aspect in this project. I can feel that, for example, I think that Maya said something about speeches and what kind of speeches that were held, and everybody somehow has their own field of interest, and I would think it would be really nice to be allowed to dig into these personal interests and passions we have. Or is that too early?
That's I want you to do. It's really time to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you do that, it's much more easy for you to understand what kind of parts in your research are important for you to continue researching in also. So, yeah, you should do that.
Yeah. Good.
And if you want to do it individually or if you want to do it with one or two others in small groups, it's really up to you.
Yeah.
I might, for instance, if you take the theme of speeches, that might be something that comes up in all the research groups, but might not be the interest of everyone in each group. But so that you then can form new constellations, like if you want to have 3 people working on the idea of speeches. So that would be a possibility.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But please be concrete now. I think that's very good. Mm.
What about the budget? Do we have money?
We do. And our idea is that actually, I mean, you are gonna have money to like invite people or instruct things or so. We don't have an enormous budget, of course, but there is a budget. And also, if you come up with an idea, then there might be ways of like getting. If you need a lot of raincoats, you might be able to get that, from a second store or something like that. So, yeah. But Katja is the one who holds the money.
Okay.
So she's taking care of the actual budget. So you have good connection to Katja, who will get money. Yeah, but for us, we really, I mean, it's important that you feel that you can do the things you come up with, Yeah. So we're gonna assist you as much as possible with it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really good idea to split up the group into interests across the different spaces right now.
Great.
But this also goes into trying to find links in between the different,
Because I think there has been a little bit the feeling of there's been a bit confusion among us. I think that's not wrong to say, right? And I just, like you say, Lina, to bring people's own practices into it, I think could maybe be a way to work around that.
Yeah.
And I think that need a little bit more flexible structures than now.
Absolutely. Definitely. And I think, I mean, should definitely for the alliances, like which sets. And I also think it would be impossible to work in any other way. You need to bring your own practices into the project at the moment, at this point. Otherwise, you will try to do something for us rather than for yourself. That doesn't make sense at all, because this is your education, your training, and so on. So you should definitely enter into the project with your own ideas. And that will make it so much easier also to see what research you need to do. So please feel really free to do that. And for the person who doesn't have an idea about that, please don't get stressed, because it could work like that as well. What I would say, So you will have time to find the project as well. So it's double. I think next, it would probably be good to kind of have small group talks. So this is a bit difficult, I think, to have this big. Doesn't it work? But it also, I mean, I hear my own voice all the time, like coming back to the echo from your side. So it's really tricky to talk.
Should we just try to call again? That happens sometimes if you talk for long.
Okay, shall we call again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ina, det er lige før du skulle tage den der bog, jeg har, i forhold til, hvis du er interesseret i det, altså, i forhold til hvem der spiller.
Ja,
den der jeg har med.
Den der.
Ja, der kunne godt være, jeg tænker mig, der kunne godt være nogle konkrete navne på
musikere og sådan noget. Ja. Og der er sådan ret fin lut, eller luts, og der er mange instrumenter til stede.
Jeg tænker også, måske man lige skulle tage de der navne, fordi det er også med de der digtere. Kunne også være meget fint lige at tage. Men det må
Det kan jeg også gøre. Jeg kan lige gå den igennem i billeder, så kan jeg lige skrive. Hello.
Hello again.
Okay. So, do you have more questions?
No.
No? Oh, fair enough. Okay. I'm thinking about next week's talk. It would be really great if we divided perhaps the talk into smaller groups. And also that for next week, I think the main task for each one of you is to come up with something concrete that brings in your practice into the project. How does that sound?
Really nice.
Yeah. Great. So I think we can make a schedule like we talked to the first group at 10, the second at 11, and then the third at 1, and the fourth at 2. So we have like different time slots, so we can be a bit more concentrated around the various themes that comes out. But then, when I say that, I don't mean the same groups as we have now. I mean the groups that you split the groups and you start to organize yourself into interests rather than to research. Does that make sense as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it doesn't work out, we'll just stand up for a certain time and then we talk,
Yeah. But actually, I find that it's really nice that we are all together and not that it's time slots. For example, today, right now, I think it's really nice that we're sitting here together, and I'm also interested about what the others have found out. And,
Okay, so then I have another idea. Let's all together like this, like we've done today, and then we can, if there are individuals like small groups that have specific, like want some more time to talk more separately, then we'll do that in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So we'll have both.
Yes.
Okay, let's do that then. So
it's next Wednesday again?
Next Wednesday again, 10.
What is the date?
This is the 13th. 13th of November.
13th, yeah, okay.
And so we start out as a big group, and then we make smaller time slots. If some just work extra. Yeah, sounds great. Okay, so thank you so much for today. Thank you. Okay, I'll put the. Bye.
Just a second. Okay. Jeg skriver navne, eller du